Hello, X. Hope you're doing well. I want to tell you a quick story. So, like all of you founders and entrepreneurs and business owners, I'm constantly trying to figure out how do I drive more organic traffic to my site so that I can reduce my marketing spend and reduce my CAC. So, I came across this really interesting post by Jake Ward where he said that they used a process to write 300 articles that were great content, and over 45 days, it resulted in 15,702 unique organic visits after 45 days. And I thought, wow, I mean, 16,000 unique visits would completely change the game for Maple, for any new startup. So I dug into it and read about it. And basically, him and a friend, Mac, have launched this awesome service called Byword. The idea is that for about $3.70 an article, you can get high quality, content rich content created at scale, right? So you could create 1,000 articles in one day for $3.70 each, and then you could, if your strategy was right, then you could start driving significant traffic to your site. So I started to dig into it, and I was really impressed with the service. I gave it a try. I created some articles. And let's just compare $3.70, to traditional content creation, right? So you're looking at writing costs, 3 to 5 hours of work, something like $90 to $250 to pay a freelancer, and then some quick editing, $30 to get it edited, and then image creation, anywhere from $25 up. So let's assume the bottom end of all those costs, right? About $145 for a typical high quality blog post. Well, Byword is 39x cheaper, right? It's just bonkers, right? Like you can create at scale content for 39x less. So it's also really cool. It's got a bunch of extra cool features, like it interlinks the articles. It's got research reports, etc. So as soon as I started digging this, I was like, well, what does Google think about all this? Is this like shady SEO stuff? And I looked into it, and it turns out that Google has released an official statement and has basically said, good content is good content. Like, we don't care if humans wrote it or machines wrote it. If it's good content, we're going to rank it, which actually makes sense, right? Like, I want to read good content. I don't care if it's written by an AI or not. As long as it teaches me and suits my needs, then great. And so that's the way Google's looking at it. So really, we're in a content arms race here now, where you really need to be creating a large amount of content so you can drive SEO organic traffic. And I think everyone's going to adopt tools like Byword. It's just inevitable. So I was excited. I was like ready to get out my debit card, ready to pay about $299 to pump out 80 articles for Maple, and then sit back and measure the results. And then I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I was like, wait a minute, I can code. I bet I can build a simple version of this for myself and just pay the API costs, right? It's not going to have all the amazing features of Byword, but in theory, it would be a lot less. And I'm a bootstrap founder on Maple, and I didn't raise venture capital, so we need to acquire customers as affordably as we can. So I got busy, opened up Cursor, started cranking out a Python script. And after a couple hours, I had something that worked. It wasn't nearly as complex as Byword, but it worked. And then when I measured the API costs, it came in at 11 cents an article, right? So that was OpenAI costs for GPT-4 plus a little bit of GPT 3.5 plus DALL-E. And I chose DALL-E because I could control the quality a little better than Stable Diffusion. You could, DALL-E costs about 8 cents per image. With Stable Diffusion, you can reduce that down to less than 2 cents, but I just didn't like the quality. So I refined it and worked on it for a couple days and came to a spot where I was really happy with the script. And now it's cranking out hundreds of articles for me every day on Maple. And I just started this week, so it's too early to measure the impact. But based off of Jake and Mac's research, I'm very optimistic it's going to work. So I think if anyone doesn't code or doesn't feel comfortable running, Python scripts, then Byword is an amazing option. And I think it's worth every penny. But if you can code or you can run a Python script, then my script is 31x cheaper than Byword, and it's 1,216 times cheaper than in traditional content. So it seems like a pretty great option for founders. So I'd like to introduce you to Article Writer. It's an amazing name. And I thought, bootstrap founders like me, what would they want to pay to save a couple days of messing around with the code, trying to figure it out, trying to get it working? And then what would they want to save in the future by just paying for API costs? And I thought $99. $99 seems like a fair price to own the code, and then you can create, theoretically, an infinite amount of great high quality content just using your API key at OpenAI. So it's pretty simple the way it works. You just basically buy the code, and then you clone the repo after I give you access as a collaborator. It's a private repo. And then you set up some variables and configuration. It's pretty straightforward. And you research a list of topics, right? So Article Writer does not research topic titles for you. You need to do that work where you basically come up with a list of article titles that you want to write. And I used a mix of Google Ads, Keyword Explorer for that, Googling, and I came up with my article titles. And then you run Python app.py, and you sit back and take a nap, and then you take all the images and the articles and you upload them to your site, and then you sit back and measure the results. So pretty straightforward. I hope you like it. I'm excited to be using it every day. And I think there's a longer, deeper conversation to have here about the reduction in software costs, right? So I think we're finding over and over again, there's going to be a lot of solopreneurs, a lot of founders, a lot of engineers that realize they can build a solution and pay 90% less if they deploy it themselves. Now, it's not going to have all the features, but if it works, it works. We're seeing a big conversation around once, which is Basecamp 37 Signal's new buy it once, own it forever model. Article Writer is an example of that. I think we're going to see a reduction in SaaS and a massive increase in build it yourself and deploy it, or buy it once and deploy it yourself. So excited for founders because this reduces the cost to run the business and to acquire customers. So hope you like it. Look forward to chatting to you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.